Hello and welcome. The outbreak of violence and killings of dozens at Kwaha's Laske village, a community in the Mangu local government area of Plateau State on Wednesday, has continued to send shockwaves across the entire state. No fewer than 30 persons, mostly women and children, were killed by assailants despite a 24-hour curfew imposed by the state government on Tuesday. The crisis, primarily between indigenous farmers and migrant herders, continued around 9:30 a.m. when armed men in their large numbers invaded the entire community. Now, despite the uncertain number of casualty figure, now armed men razed down churches and mosques in Angwang, Dawo, Old Market, and Bayan Kasua suburbs of the local council. This comes after the Christmas Eve massacre in Bokos and Birkenladi local councils in December of 2023, where about 200 persons were killed. The state government has, however, initiated moves to increase the presence of security personnel in the affected areas to restore community confidence. Joining me now to discuss this further is security expert Abu Hamisu. He joins us from Abuja. Mr. Hamisu, thank you very much. I can see someone right behind you there, but that's okay. I mean, you sometimes you get this with technology, so I can understand. But seriously speaking, how could an attack of this nature have happened in a place where a curfew was declared? I mean, the state government declared a 24-hour curfew, and then earlier in the day now, and then at night, this attack happened.
You see, DG is part of our problems that I highlighted the other time. Anytime we have issues like this, we don't punish people for their laxities. We don't punish people for the dereliction of responsibilities or abdication of responsibilities or poor planning or poor execution. Now, how can you put a people that are under threat, under curfew, without all the necessary security arrangement to protect them? It's not done anywhere in the world. If you know that you don't have the wherewithal to give a people the kind of protection they needed, there is no need to put them under curfew, because when you put them under curfew and you don't have the manpower, the resources, the capabilities to give them the maximum protection they needed, you just set them up for annihilation. This is exactly what happened. The attackers understood a fact, and the fact is that they understand that the government forces, whether police or army or soldier or whatever that has been, whatever agency that has been deployed to Plateau State, have no capacity to police the entire village. So they knew that, and they exploited that curfew. So it was even a bad decision in the first place, because before you put people under curfew, you must ensure that they are secured from any attack. So whoever suggested it to the governor, who endorsed it, all of those people ought to be called for questioning and punished appropriately for misleading the governor to take a decision that imperiled the lives of the people. Because we know that if we don't start with punishing people on the plateau, I said it earlier on, that where we are on the plateau is perpetual conflict cycle. And what do I mean by perpetual conflict cycle? It is a cycle that will keep occurring. Because if Group A attack Group B and nothing is done to punish the attackers, tomorrow Group A will retaliate by attacking Group B. And then they will continue to retaliate against themselves, and they will continue to kill themselves until such a situation whereby the government will find it necessary to say enough is enough, or the people will come together to say enough is enough, and that we need to work for peace, and that it is irresponsible of us to continue to bury our people every time, every day, every year, and then no solution in sight.
It's really quite disgraceful that this attack would happen in an environment that you have curfew in place. And you're quite right, because the way this attack was described by eyewitnesses, we understand those who were killed actually gathered at a place, maybe a chief's house now, and then the attackers descended on them. Now, the question is, we have still not recovered from the other attacks. The last time you were on this program, we discussed this. So the question is, why is it difficult to police these environments where these attacks happen?
Unfortunately, this very particular environment is the easiest environment that attacks can take place because the environment has been polarized. So if you're not an active participant in the process, if you're not picking guns to attack, you are sympathetic to those that are attacking. So if you give information, for instance, if I come from a particular group that is planning an attack, and I went out to say that, okay, for the interest of peace, my people want to attack so people. I will be treated as an outcast, as a betrayal, as a bastard son of that very particular tribe. So even if you hate it, you just have to hate it in your heart. You can't come out to say anything. Least you'll be branded as a sympathizer of the people they consider as enemy. The same thing is happening at the other end. So even if you hate it, you have to keep quiet. Only very few persons have courage to come out to say, look, my people, what you are doing is wrong. The Brazilian educator, Paul Freire, said something. He said, in an attempt to dismantle injustice, however bad you think it is, don't replicate the strategy of the oppressor because there will be no difference between you and the oppressor. But what is happening on the plateau is that almost everybody is replicating the strategy of everybody else. What do I mean by this? Group A attack Group B. Group B want to retaliate, and they want to use the crudest method to inflict the most dangerous and severe pains they could muster, and then the other group will come to retaliate and want to do something more brutal than what the other. And the two groups are crying that they need peace. So who is deceiving who? If you need peace, stop being violent. If you need peace, stop attacking each other. The way you could pick up arms and ammunition against your opponent, you could as well arrange table to say, let us have a handshake against what is dividing us. And then you sit amicably. The decision to go to war is taken amicably. So why can't we take decision to ensure that there is peace on the plateau amicably? What is the problem? The problem is our attitude.
And then my question is, why is it difficult for security agencies to effectively police these communities where these attacks happen? Is it that they are too vast?
They cannot, because two reasons, Deji. One, as we speak today, both parties are not ready for peace. I want to retaliate against you because you did this to me yesterday. So I have to retaliate today. The second thing is that nobody is willing to volunteer information for two obvious reasons. One is that we have this history in Nigeria where you volunteer history and you volunteer information to security forces, and your cover is blown. And the people you went to report will come back to you to say, Deji, you thought you could just go to police and run your mouth and you think we will not find you out? So people are worried because they don't want their names to be mentioned. Secondly, the environment they live in, everybody has taken side. So if you're not an actor on the field that is actively killing, then in your heart, if your group should kill, you are happy, you rejoice, you celebrate it. Then when your own group is killed, you become sad. That is when you now call on security to come to your rescue, that they should restore peace on the plateau. So until such a time that if Group A kills, you feel bad about it, that is your group, that they are killing Group B, and that if Group B should attack your own group, which is Group A, you feel bad. This is the only time you can come out and work for peace. But anytime we've taken side because we're emotional about these issues, because it is my tribe, because it is my religion, because it's my person, then to volunteer information will become a problem. So what you want to see is retaliation. So everybody is almost happy about retaliation, whatever group you belong to. So until it is affecting you, that you will now feel that government is not doing enough. But in essence, government allow you to attack the other group, government is doing enough.
In essence, what you're saying is that the solution to this actually lies with the people of Plateau.
Of course. See, there is no way you can impose peace from without. You can't impose peace from without. Secondly, you cannot force a people to say enough is enough. until they realize it to say enough is enough. I give you an instance. When insecurity was raging in Borno State, and the Borno people felt that the security forces were not doing enough, what did they do? The elders came together with the youth to say, look, we need a civilian JTF. This civilian JTF needed to they need to serve as a marker between our youth that are with Boko Haram and our youth that are peace loving. And then these our youth that are peace loving, as marked by their own activities and support to the soldiers, right, become our sons that we need to support. And from that day, the onslaught against Boko Haram changed in Borno State, because it was even the people that are volunteering information about the training camps and the rest and the rest. So you could see that people can only be able to achieve peace when they resolve on their own to say enough is enough. We need peace and we are going to work for peace. I give an instance in Plateau State. Imam Abubakar, who saved about 300 Christians, was somebody that was different from the pack of the Muslims that are in the conflict together, and he decided to act differently, to say that these over 300 Christians are my brothers, they are human beings like me, so why should I allow them to be killed? If it is a participant in that conflict, it was him that was going to kill the 300 Christians. He wouldn't have saved them. And that is why I'm saying that it is the people, it is the attitude of the people to the entire crisis. So if he now said, because my people were attacked day before yesterday, nothing was done to save them, it is my opportunity to collaborate with their hunters and kill over 300, then the news tomorrow would have been 300 Christians, largely women and children, killed in so location. But he has a change of heart, and that is what makes the difference. This is the kind of things that we want to see going forward. A lot of people having change of heart to say, look, this conflict should be over. We lost the most prestigious market in Plateau State. Look at the lives that are being wasted. Women and children that knew nothing about the conflict. So at the end of it all, it is the new generation of Plateau people that are supposed to move Plateau forward that we are destroying. And where there is no peace, there will be no stability, there will be no investment, there will be no prosperity. And that is why most of the time when they conduct poverty survey, you see that Plateau will feature prominently, not because Plateau people are not hardworking, not because they do not have the resources, but the right mix and combination of the things that they are missing. No investment is coming in because nobody will want to invest in an environment that is not secure and safe. Then the talents that needed to come to Plateau to explore what they have in Plateau are moving out of Plateau. They are going to Lagos. Look at the talented musicians that came out of Plateau. All of them are in Abuja or they are in Lagos because of insecurity. Instead of Plateau to reap from the talent they've nurtured, now it is other states of the federation that are reaping from. Now, traffic has been diverted from the Plateau. Previously, if you are going to the Middle East, you pass through Plateau, you have the opportunity to patronize whatever they have, especially their fruit. Their fruit are fresh, and they are lovely, and they are enticing. And now that traffic has been diverted. Petty traders are suffering. You farm, you don't have that population that will take over, take whatever you farm. So if you look at it, head or tail, monies are supposed to be used to provide education, healthcare, roads, all the infrastructure, water. They are going into maintaining either the military that are in security post or checkpoint, or the police. So head or tail, it is Plateau and the people of Plateau that are losing. So it is high time they told themselves the truth to say, look, enough is enough. We are the ones that are killing ourselves. We are the ones that are burying ourselves, and we need to stop henceforth. That is what they did in Kano.
And why do you think in Plateau it's been difficult for the people to do that, to actually sit down? I'm talking about the people now from all the sides, to sit down and say, look, enough is enough. Let's end this. Let's end this cycle of violence. Why has it been difficult for them to do that?
You see, Mr. DJ, we have a problem. And the problem is, in every conflict situation, we only see from our own perspective what we want, what we desire. We don't feel for the other party. We are not always inclusive in our deliberations. So, for instance, you are talking to somebody in the Plateau, and he will say to you, and you use same word in your opening remarks to say, that the conflict is largely and settler. If, for instance, I want you out of my house, and we've been battling each other, we've been fighting, we've been injuring ourselves, and I realize that I cannot get you out of my house because it's a fight of survival. It's either you've made up your mind, it's either you die in that property or you're not going anywhere. And after 10 years, we continue to injure ourselves. So what do we need to do? We need to settle amicably. Now, if we want to end the fight in Plateau, both parties must listen to each other. What is your concern? For instance, it is a fight against land, right? Okay, you want to chase me out of your land, and I said I'm not going anywhere. I'm ready to die here. And in the last 10, 15 years, that has been the scenario. We'll be killing each other. Now, why can't we sit and say, okay, this land is enough for everybody. You graze here and I farm here. Mm-hmm. That is just the attitude that needs to prevail. Because if you expel him, where do you want him to go to? And if he has a place to go to, he said he's not going. And because he said he's not going, and look, where there is denial, there is always rebellion, there is always resistance, there is always. So our polity is not constituted in such a way that it will provide mutual assurance for both parties. I want you out, I want it all, and there is nothing you can do about it. And then I will resist to say that I've come to stay. We're talking about a place that attracted people as far back as 1920s, because it was one of the hubs of economic activities in this country, to the extent that in the population census, a lot of people identify themselves as strangers. They did not identify themselves as indigenous. I'm talking about as far back as 1920s, 1930s. We're talking about 3 to 4 generations, 5 generations. So people fight because they believe they have no option. And once you get to that position, you need to understand it, that in every conflict situation, once you realize that people are fighting because they have no option and they're not willing to take any option, then you should know that you've come to perpetual conflict cycle. And if you do not do anything to manage it, what resulted? The last time I said something, that if some actions are not taken, there will be attacks on the plateau again as a result of the drive to always retaliate. And this drive to retaliate is what is driving the conflict forward. So we need to do 2 things to stop the conflict first, before we even talk about how do you want to relate. Because the problem we have at hand now are 2. First, the initial issue, which is about indigenous settlers or others, farmers conflict, however you want to look at the situation. Now it has given birth to a perpetual conflict cycle that is leading to killings every day. So you see, we've not even addressed the issue of the land, but we're talking about the killings now. So until both parties realize that, look, enough is enough, we've killed enough, and we can't kill any longer because nobody is ready to go anywhere, then that is the beginning of the solution to the problem on the plateau.
Abu Amisu, thank you very much for coming on the program, and thank you for your wonderful insights. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. We'll take a short break now, and we'll be right back. Stay with us. Don't go away.